The thing they say about adapting stories is that it's the translation between mediums that's the hardest. Books to stage, stage to screen. Sometimes it's like trying to pour an ocean into a teacup. And Wicked, the latest film from director John M. Chu, based on the popular book by Gregory Maguire, well, it's the perfect example of this adaptation challenge. I'll come back to that later, but first, what's Wicked all about? Well, it's set in L. Frank Baum's Oz universe and tells the origin story of the Wicked Witch of the West, whom you'll have seen in the 1939 Wizard of Oz film, played here by Cynthia Erivo. Known as Elphaba Throp, she arrives at Shiz University with a hope to one day meet the Wizard of Oz, a mage she idolises and dreams might be able to change her green skin colour, which often leaves her ostracised in life. Also arriving at Shiz at the same time is Galinda Upland, a wealthy, prim and somewhat unkind young witch played by Ariana Grande. The two are at odds immediately, a situation only worsened when they're made roommates. This carries on until a university party when something happens that whips their friendship in a different direction. Meanwhile, the animal lecturers at the university, whom Elphaba befriends early on, find themselves persecuted and forced to leave their teaching posts. Causing particular sadness to Elphaba is the resignation of Dr. Dillamond, a goat lecturer played by Peter Dinklage. With little she can do about this and still making waves with her own magical skills, Elphaba's dream to meet the Wizard of Oz finally comes true when she's called up to meet him. Taking Galinda with her, they set off on the train to Oz. But will the wizard be everything Elphaba has dreamed of, and will she be able to save the animals of Oz from their increasingly precarious position in society? Okay, let's get something straight right off the bat. Wicked is a stunning looking film. The set design is so meticulously crafted, it's like someone took the fairy tales we all imagined in our minds as children and thrust them onto the screen. There are moments that genuinely echo something like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars in their set design, and you can tell a lot of love went into creating this candy floss magical universe. It's inventive, colourful, and the kind of visual feast that will make your eyes pop. But looking good is only half the battle of a movie like this, and Wicked seems to have forgotten about the other half. The performances on the whole are a mixed bag. Cynthia Erivo is undoubtedly one of the standouts. When she finally gets to let her voice rip, it soars in a way that will give you goosebumps. At times she seems sad in the film, wistful, older than her years, and when she's called on to really act for a scene, she handles the emotional moments with grace. Ariana Grande, surprisingly, doesn't feel out of place either, though her performance is very much one note, which I guess fits her character in a weird way. Peter Dinklage, I've always been a big fan of his, and his voice is just perfect for the old goat lecturer Dillamond here. Such warmth and patience, really great casting. Jeff Goldblum too as the wizard, he's just great to see, always bringing a smile to your face no matter what movie he's in. There's something to be said for an interesting actor. They stand out so much in popcorn movies like this, and Goldblum is just that. But this is where things start to go off the rails a bit in Wicked. The pacing is a nightmare. The film is 2 hours and 40 minutes long, and a good chunk of those minutes feel like an eternity. The first 2/3 feel like they're happening in slow motion. Every scene takes so much time to get through. Characters talk and look, and just when you think you're getting somewhere, bam, another song erupts to break the tension. And those songs. What is this feeling and defying gravity are catchy, I'll give them that. But after the 20th time of cheap sounding drums revving up and Ariana Grande's voice cracking, your heart just sinks at the start of another. The music sounds like something someone would have made on an early 2000s home computer piece of audio software, not a compliment. The character development is pretty much comical. Characters change personalities faster than chameleons change colour. Two characters hate each other and then suddenly they're best friends. They fall in love in an instant for no real reason, with no meaningful interactions to make it believable. What saves this film, barely, is how it approaches Elphaba's character. For a candy floss musical, she's actually somewhat complex. She genuinely cares about fairness and the vulnerable, but also wants to be popular. She'll do silly things just to see what happens, and it makes her interesting in a sea of otherwise two-dimensional characters. Towards the end, too, something miraculous happens. The story actually picks up. The songs stop and suddenly it becomes watchable. It's like the film finally remembers what it's supposed to be. Wicked is a story that's been split into 2 parts, supposedly because it would be too long and unwieldy for one. That's not the real reason, of course, it's money. We all know it's money. But it has damaged what could have been a decent story, especially for fans of the book or the stage play, or fans of something like Harry Potter and its magical school vibes. For the rest of us, however, I'd say Wicked is a visual feast with a serious case of narrative indigestion. Anyway, nothing more to say. This is Movie Maverick, signing out.